For a food scientist, monitoring a batch of pickles presents a specific challenge. If the brine's acidity drops even slightly, the entire shipment could spoil. However, determining that exact acid concentration is impossible by sight alone. Inside a clear liquid, hydrogen ions are microscopic and invisible. There is no scale or ruler that can visually count these particles to determine their concentration or molarity. To count them, we must force a reaction. We introduce a titrant, a strong base with a known concentration, which neutralizes the acid molecules as they meet. By tracking the exact amount of base consumed, we can calculate the amount of acid originally present. This methodical counting process is the foundation of a laboratory titration. The procedure begins with the unknown acid, or analyte, which is measured into an Erlenmeyer flask at the bottom of the workstation. Mounted above it is a burette, a thin glass tube filled with the titrant base. Because this base is standardized, its molarity is known with extreme precision. The objective is to slowly add the base to the acid until they reach a state of perfect stoichiometric balance. This glass assembly functions as a physical calculator. Every milliliter dropped from the burette provides a variable needed to solve the final concentration equation. Before opening the valve, we must consult the reaction's specific instruction manual, the balanced chemical equation. In basic neutralization, we often see a 1-to-1 ratio. One hydroxide ion from the base cancels one hydrogen ion from the acid. Polyprotic acids change the math. Sulfuric acid releases 2 hydrogen ions, taking twice as much base to reach neutralization. This equation is the essential rulebook. Without it, the final concentration calculation will be incorrect. With the stoichiometry established, the physical work begins. The stopcock opens and the base begins falling into the acid. As the liquid level in the flask grows, we track the math. The volume of base added, multiplied by its known molarity, tells us exactly how many moles have entered the reaction. Initially, the pH barely changes. This flat section of the curve shows the surplus acid consuming the incoming base as quickly as it arrives. Then, the dynamic reaches a threshold. This vertical spike represents the equivalence point, when the added base perfectly matches the initial acid. To see this invisible threshold, we use an indicator chemical. As shown in panel C, a single drop causes a permanent color shift, signaling that the reaction is complete. This flash of color in the physical world is the signal that the moles of acid and base are now stoichiometrically equal. Once the color permanently holds, we close the valve and record the final volume reading from the burette's markings. We now possess our 3 required data points: the volume of base used, the molarity of that base, and the mole ratio from our equation. We slot these variables into our titration formula, M1V1 equals M2V2. By isolating the unknown concentration variable, M2, we find the molarity of our analyte. Every step of the experiment was a mechanism to discover this single missing value. Acid-base stoichiometry connects the macroscopic and the molecular. By measuring the volume of a liquid in a lab, we can determine the exact quantity of molecules present in a solution.